Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Agata.
I have a last topic to discuss with you. Sometimes the cooperation with the suppliers may not go very smooth, and we have simply issues. What we shall do, what we could do, how we can work with the supplier to cover those gaps and issues. Any ideas from your side?
So, in my experience, I would say that most issues are miscommunication or misinterpretation of requirements. So, in some cases, when a supplier might see lots of SCs and CCs and regulation requirements all over a drawing, they can view that as cost. They might say we might not have the facilities or we might need to buy a really expensive piece of equipment. I think the most
Mhm.
important thing is to sit down and discuss those requirements up front. If new ones arise, we discuss them. I prefer to work with suppliers that don't just want to RFQ everything and understand that there's a benefit from both sides. Obviously, if things have to be formalized, that's great. But from a supplier development perspective, it's in their best interest as a business to win more business and to grow as a company and to have more profit margin and hire more people and have better working conditions if they improve their problems. Now, any car manufacturer that have problems, eventually that comes to finance. So if it's quality problems or capacity problems, eventually that company will close. And we see suppliers go into liquidation quite frequently within the OEM sphere. We see a lot of suppliers that have been around and they keep renaming themselves. I'm not going to name them, but there are some of them that still exist but under a different name because it's poorly managed. And for me, top management are responsible for managing those problems within their business, within the
Mhm.
suppliers. The types of issues that I've seen over the years, ones have been anywhere from product development in terms of misunderstanding test requirements, or or not necessarily um, measuring parts correctly to those requirements. That sometimes happens. Declaring something okay for the sake of declaring it okay when it's not is also taking a risk to the customer, because when we measure it, then we find a non-conformance. There are penalties, there are inspections, and so on. Other things can happen from, like I said before, force de majeure, which is like, if I'm saying that correctly, which is act of God. In some cases, tools can be damaged, on the transportation, or a factory can burn down. That happens. And they're all problems, they're all issues. But the best thing is to try and, step back, formulate a plan, look at it from a wider view perspective, and then try to logically put things back together where it should be. I always believe in a partnership with suppliers. My view is that we need to work together as a team rather than against each other, and be more like a customer supplier. The customer's always right. The customer isn't always right in situations. Most of the time when there's issues with suppliers, I would say it's an individual of the company. It's not the company itself. And unfortunately, in my experience, those individuals could end up causing that business to lose the next project or to lose the business in the future. Um, I've lived it in previous OEMs. I'm not going to deny that that can happen in charge. Of course, it can. If a supplier isn't willing to work with us and improve themselves, why as a customer will we stay with them if they're going to jeopardize our project or our customer's experience? So that's the way I view problems with suppliers. What to do? The first thing is to investigate. It depends on which method you want to use for root cause analysis. You can use the A3 method to formalize it. Six Sigma is a buzzword in methodology if you want to use that. It all depends on how quick the problem needs to be analyzed first. I don't necessarily think that every problem should be a Six Sigma project. I think some things could be,
Definitely.
yeah, it's good for long-term improvement when you don't know where you want to be fully, and you say you want to go from this condition to this condition, and you want to strategize it. That's fine, but I like to use things like 5Y and Min, and find out what root causes are from an Ishikawa perspective. It depends on which way you want to illustrate it. So hopefully your supplier has that sort of mindset. They already have those root cause analysis tools. If they don't, you will work with them in the journey. So you'll show them step by step how to do the investigation, because I've worked with suppliers that are considered to be experts in their field, and they jump straight to the root cause and they haven't actually done the investigation. So it's not really the root cause; it's just an assumed cause. So it depends on what the issue is. Everything can be done from a root cause analysis perspective, though, of why does it happen? Why was it not detected? I think it can be done.
Great that you started with the requirements and later you mentioned about the design and development. This needs to be really done very properly to avoid a future problems. Yes. Also, important is that problem solving itself. Of course, ITF is saying that we have to apply certain methods and also aligned with the customer if needed. What's more, we need to find the root cause. Yes, this is the idea of the problem solving. Yes, so dear suppliers, your obligation is in automotive supply chain to find the root cause for your problems. Yes. What else? Shall we say something more?
I think in terms of the root cause, the most common answer I've ever seen on an 8D format is operator error, and
Ah,
the yeah, operator
no.
error is such a topic in itself. And in charge, and in every company I've ever worked for, operator error, dear suppliers, operator will never be accepted as a root cause to why that has happened. The reason why that can happen is that your system design, your process design, or your component is not robust enough to be mistake proof. That's the reason. The real
Mhm.
reason could be further, like a screw was missing or whatever. That's the actual investigation. But your process or your design or both needs to be robust in such a way that the mistake cannot happen in the first place. Operator error is not a root cause. It never will be. And retraining an operator is not a permanent countermeasure.
No, not at all. The operator is working in those conditions, in this environment, how we in our organization designed this for him. Okay, I like this word robust, really. I will tell at the end of this last video of our video series, How to Work with the Suppliers in the Supply Chain, that everyone who actually watched all our episodes could find a lot of answers how to avoid problems. Yes, development, audits, approval of the products and processes from the suppliers, and even the basis, the proper selection of the supplier. These are a lot of hints where you can find some solutions, yes, for avoiding the problems. So this is all activities which can build quality assurance for us in our organization and then lead to the customer satisfaction. Christopher, thank you very much for all these episodes. I enjoyed it very much. I must tell you that it was really a pleasure to meet a great professionalist, the person with who you can talk about the quality just in an easy, smooth way. I enjoyed really.
Thank you. Likewise.